How much money do you need to buy that $1 million home that you've been wanting for a long time? On today's episode of The Dima Show, I'm going to go through that scenario plus many more. I'm going to show you different loan terms, different loan types, and how you can get into that first property, or maybe you want to buy your next home. All of that and more on The Dima Show. Let's go. Hey, what's up, my friends? All right, so you may want to buy your first home, or maybe you want to buy a subsequent home and trade up into something bigger, badder, in a better area, or whatever it might be, and you're wondering how much cash, how much money do you need, or how much Bitcoin do you need? Wait, can you buy a house with Bitcoin? I'll get to that on this video. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. We'll talk about it. But anyway, how much money do you need to buy that amazing house that you've been wanting to buy? And make sure you stay until the end, guys, because I'm going to go through all of the different scenarios on multiple different types of properties in multiple price points so that you know exactly what you need to do to buy that house this year in 2022. And guys, why am I so gung-ho on real estate? Look, there are lots of asset classes. There are lots of things that you could do with your money. Like I mentioned, you can buy Bitcoin, you could buy gold, you could buy stocks, or all of these things that you can do. But I will tell you that real estate, you guys, has made more millionaires, has made more people wealthy, even by accident, because some people, all they've done is buy their primary residence, and then they've held on to that for 30 years, and bam, all of a sudden, they have a ton of equity, as long as they haven't done any cash out refinances or anything like that, and they have a ton of equity to retire on, to trade down, to do things like that. In fact, my parents are an example of that. They bought real estate early on when they came to this country. They continued to buy real estate, and recently, a few years ago, they sold their big, expensive home that they didn't really need anymore, and they downgraded, or downsized, I should say, not downgraded, into a condo, took that cash, and now they have money to live on. So there are so many things you could do with real estate. There are so many reasons to buy real estate, and today I'm going to go through these examples. So let's go ahead and rock and roll, and I'll take you through some of these scenarios. So you guys, the first thing I want to show you is FHA loan. Now, an FHA loan, some people think that's only for first-time homebuyers. That is a myth. It's not. An FHA loan is a government guaranteed loan. It has certain limits. It has certain requirements, but in summary, it's a very favorable loan for a lot of people, because in most cases, you only have to put 3.5% down as a down payment in order to buy a home. So let's take a look at the loan limits and see how much money you actually need to buy a home using an FHA loan. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go on this handy dandy website. I will put the link down in the description, the show notes, wherever you're checking this out. And all you have to do is click on your state. So I am now here in Texas. Woohoo! You click on Texas, and then you scroll down and you find your county. So you can go ahead and search. And for example, I am in Tarrant County, which is right here. And in Tarrant County, it says that my single unit loan limit is $450,800. That means I can get an FHA loan for $450,000. Now, I'm not limited to buying a house that's worth $450,000. I can go way up as much as I want. I can put a bigger down payment and all of that kind of stuff. But let's just assume that I want to use the max FHA loan limit. So then, guys, I'm going to go over to my other handy dandy mortgage calculator. This will also be linked for you. And with a loan amount of $450,000, which is that max FHA amount, if I'm only putting 3.5% down, I can buy a home for $467,000, 3.5% down using today's interest rates. That means that my mortgage payment every single month, including taxes and insurance, will be just about $2,100. Now, I will tell you that might be the rent for a lot of people, but instead of renting, you can capture that appreciation on your home and everything else that happens with buying your own home. You can leverage your money, you can get appreciation, you can take out loans on that, buy more real estate, and all of these other great things. So let me show you the question that we started this episode out with, which is how much cash do you actually need? Well, look, house price of $467,000 means a loan amount of $450,000. Your down payment right here is $16,350. Now, you're also going to need some money for possibly reserves and closing costs. Closing costs can be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1%. So let's add another $5,000 or so to that. So just to give you a ballpark figure, you're going to need about $20,000 to buy a $467,000 home with an FHA loan, putting 3.5% down. Now, guys, 20 grand. That's all you got to save up. And I know that, listen, that sounds like a lot of money for some people. For some people, it doesn't sound like a lot of money. But either way, I know that you can put a plan in place to save up 20 grand to buy that first home. Now let's take a look at another example. Let's say that you're maybe trading into something bigger in a different area, better school district, whatever it might be, or maybe you're just buying your first home and you have more money to spend. So let's take a look at another example where you're going to get a conventional loan, not an FHA loan, meaning you're going to be putting 20% down. Now, guys, look, I know there are other programs. There are so many loan programs available today with 10% down, maybe even 5% down. Let's just go with the traditional 20% down example and take a look at that. And we're going to be buying this time a $1 million home, since that's what so many people ask me about. All right, guys, so here's our example. We're going to go back to the mortgage calculator. We're buying a $1 million home. We are putting 20% down. Same thing, 30 years, 4%. We got our property taxes and all that other stuff. And so our mortgage payment on this house is just under $4,000, $3,800 to be exact. And in this example, since we're putting 20% down, we're going to need $200,000 as our down payment plus closing costs. Let's add in another 10 grand or so. So now we're at 10 grand, maybe a little bit more. We also need some reserves and things like that. So in this example, we're probably going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $210,000, $220,000 down on that $1 million home. Now, guys, there's a couple of things I want to add which are very, very important. There are more factors that go into buying a home than just the amount of cash that you have. There's also your credit score, which is extremely important. The higher your credit score, the lower your interest rate is going to be, meaning the more house you can afford or the less you have to put down. The lower your credit score, conversely, then the higher your interest rate is typically going to be, the more you're going to have to do to get that loan, and the more money you're probably going to have to put down. Plus, your monthly payments are going to go up. So credit is extremely important. The other factor that's extremely important is your debt to income ratio. This is all of your debts that you have, like your cars, your student loans, your credit cards, divided by the amount of income that you make every single month. And that ratio, there's a front end ratio and a back end ratio. The front end is before that mortgage payment. The back end is with the mortgage payment, determines also how much house you can afford. So there's a lot of factors that go into buying a home. And the best thing, guys, that you could do is contact an amazing mortgage lender that can really run you through all this, give you all the different scenarios. And if you need help with that, I can provide many referrals for you. Just hit me up in those show notes or the links, and I will be glad to do that for you. And guys, I want to share with you, whatever you take out of this episode of the Dima Show, whatever it is that you decide to do, I want you to make a commitment in 2022, because we're all about setting goals and hitting goals on my show. And the commitment I want you to make is to buy some real estate. Even if you have a lot of conviction about, let's say, cryptocurrency or gold or stocks or a certain company or whatever that is, venture capital, whatever it is, I want you to still make a commitment to buy real estate. And I will tell you that personally, no matter what else is going on, no matter what else I'm buying, no matter what else I'm investing in, real estate is always on the forefront from me. I've always loved real estate. It's a tangible asset. Over time, no matter what, at least historically, it always appreciates in value. It's something you can live in. It's something you can rent out. The leverage on real estate is really fantastic. And so there are so many reasons to invest in real estate. I know it might not be as sexy as buying Bitcoin and seeing a 50% increase over a couple of days, but over the long term, real estate, like I said when we started off today, is one of the asset classes that has produced the most millionaires and the most wealthy people. So get in the game, buy real estate, and even if you don't have great credit right now, if you don't have money saved up right now, you can make a plan to do that. And if you need any help, I'd love to help you out, again, either with referrals or through direct education or knowledge. Subscribe to the channel, follow me, like this, share this for more information just like this on real estate, business, and finance. Thanks again for tuning in today on The Dima Show. I'll catch you on the next episode.